It was a Sunday, warm and languid, the sort of day that carries the scent of fresh coffee and crisp linens. The children were out in the backyard, their laughter drifting like sunlight through the open windows. My wife was humming in the kitchen, a soft, familiar tune. I sat in the study, watching the breeze tease the curtains, daring to believe that calm had finally settled over my life. Silence, though, can be deceptive. He arrived like a storm trapped in a bottle, no warning, just a sudden rumble. Ethan, her alpha, as she once murmured in the night, thinking I was lost in sleep. The man she introduced as a friend from her gym group, the one who grinned at my kids lingering too long, too often. I noticed it all. The stolen glances, the fleeting touches, the unspoken tension strung between them like a taut thread. I never imagined she'd invite him back. Not like this. He strode into the living room as if he owned the space. Black shirt, too tight, a jaw set like it held buried truths. He brushed past me, ignoring the framed memories of family trips and milestones on the wall, and stood in the heart of my home, dropping his words like a stone through a window. "You're finished here." I blinked. "Excuse me?" He turned to my wife, and smirked. She didn't return it. Not yet, but she didn't stop him either. Then his hand struck, sharp, decisive. My cheek burned, my ears hummed. The room fell still, even the kids' laughter outside faded. He stared at me, calm, certain. "I'm in charge now." I didn't stir, didn't wince. I just straightened my sleeve, slow and deliberate, and met his gaze. 5 minutes, I said quietly. "That's all I'll need." He chuckled. "For what? To break down?" I smiled. The clock was ticking. "Let me tell you about silence. It's not surrender. It's the sound of a blade being honed." I walked past him, past her, past the stunned silence cloaking my children outside. I opened the drawer by the bookcase, the one nobody touches. Inside was a flash drive. Sleek, black, ready. I returned to the living room where he now lounged on my sofa, legs sprawled like he was royalty. She stood nearby, arms folded, trying to seem resolute, but her eyes darted sideways, then down, her facade cracking. "Kids," I called through the window, voice steady. "Go to your rooms, lock the doors." They obeyed. No hesitation. They knew that tone. One I hadn't used in years. I plugged the drive into the television, pressed the remote. The screen came alive, their faces paled. Her jaw dropped. There she was, in our bed, with him over and over, dates, times, timestamps. My voice played over it, a recording I'd made the night I uncovered the truth. People lie. Footage doesn't. Ethan stood. "This is against the law." "No," I said. "This is my home, my wife, my cameras." She turned on him. "You said he didn't know." "I always knew," I whispered. He stepped closer, anger flaring. "You think this makes you strong? You let this happen. You just watched." "No," I said. "I waited." Then the doorbell chimed. Perfect timing. 2 officers stepped inside. No uniforms, but badges gleamed. My cousin Mark led the way, a detective with internal affairs. The other, my old college friend, now with Child Protective Services. They looked at me. "You sure?" I nodded. Mark turned to them. "Ethan Caldwell, you're under arrest for assault, trespassing, and endangering minors." "You can't." "I can," I said. "Your history's caught up. Assault charges from 18, a restraining order you broke. I didn't find it. She did." Her name was Lauren. Sound familiar? He froze. My wife, no, the woman who used to be my wife, stepped back from him, as if he'd suddenly turned to flame. The second officer spoke. "Mrs. Carter, based on recent evidence and statements, your children will be placed in temporary guardianship pending review." She screamed. pleaded. You can't take them. I didn't, I said. You traded them, one betrayal at a time. The house grew hollow with their absence. Ethan in handcuffs, her in tears. My kids, safe. The silence that returned was different. I stood alone in the hallway, fingers tracing the wall where their heights were marked. 5 years of birthdays etched in pencil. A quiet record of dreams. I didn't weep. I just exhaled. Then I gathered the fragments. Not of furniture, not of windows, but of myself. 5 minutes, that's all it took. Not to brawl, not to shout, but to end it. With proof, with poise, with finality. People think revenge is loud, violent, messy. But true revenge? It's refined. It walks in wearing a suit and leaves behind quiet and freedom. The door clicked shut behind them, and for the first time in years, the house didn't feel haunted. It felt alive with breath.